Hello, my name is Christian Turner. I'm 16 years old and I attend Florence Memorial High School. The question I was asked was, what narrative do I feel Hollywood is forcing onto teens? A negative narrative. And a negative narrative, I would say, has to be drugs. Oh, drugs. Such a bad thing. Don't do drugs, guys. You know, there's movies and TV shows like Snowfall, Breaking Bad, that were based in Hollywood, maybe expanded, like Breaking Bad expanded into New Mexico and Snowfall was in different parts. But the main objective in a lot of these eye-catching shows is also like Power and Queen of the South is drugs. And that just gives teens the fascination to want to do drugs even, or maybe even sell drugs. Of course, there's teens that just watch it for entertainment. But it could also create thugs and gangsters. So I feel like it has a very, very negative impact, even though it may be entertaining. But yeah, man, don't do drugs. They're very bad.
Hi, my name is Chase. I go to Carver Engineering and Science. I'm an 11th grade, a junior in high school, and I have been asked to identify and to exemplify some toxic or negative narratives that I've noticed across the entertainment industry. And there are quite a few, but most prominently I've noticed the use of stereotypes to try to propel a story, propel a narrative, push a narrative, throughout a movie or a TV show. So, for example, there's a movie called Smoke Signals. Follows Native Americans. Follows, you don't really need to know the story, but they often stereotype, make jokes, or it's often comedic, unnecessarily and stereotypically comedic throughout the movie. When it's more so supposed to be a drama, and that's to try to keep the viewer entertained, I assume, but it just seems kind of, but it's often questioned whether or not using the use of like stereotypes and jokes and being self-aware about something is in a satirical way is okay, but it's not, in my opinion. Well, not necessarily that it's not, but it doesn't work often. It often falls flat. But I'm getting away from the point. There's also a show called Reservation Dogs that also has the same problem. But the next question was, how does that affect teens? How might that affect teens? I think that teens, unrealistically, they would take on like the personality of a character. That's unrealistic. I've also that's kind of a bad argument, but realistically they might make a joke about something that they saw, and out of context it might seem racially charged, so obviously that could be negative in its own way. And they might generalize a group based on what they watched, things of that nature. And do I think that Hollywood is toxic as a whole? I don't necessarily, because I often find that I often see that I find that directors are getting more and more creative nowadays, and more interesting, and they don't really need to use that to try to make a good movie. I'm not saying that they needed to use that even whenever they were making the movie or the show that I talked about, but I'm just saying, I think we're moving away from that more so than going towards it or staying in it. So I don't think it's negative as a whole, but thank you for your time. Goodbye.